Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to RTG TV for their Wednesday tier. And as you can see, we're here in Singapore for this third round Clash of Titans as we're watching ARG already out on the circuit. And that circuit has got 19 corners. It's 4.94 kilometres in length. 3.07 miles in length. It's got 3 DRS zones around this circuit. The last race winner here was Josh, and he also set the last pole time here. It was on an intermediate tyre. Not sure if that's going to be the case tonight. Of course, we'll have to wait for that. It was a 141.804, and he also got pole and won last week as well. So having a good run in the Wednesday tier, and had a good run in at Singapore when we were here last time on Monday in round 9. Chuckle is leading the way in the championship with 46 points, 42 points for Clay the Monkey. Josh McGill is in 3rd, Matty Jones is 4th, RTG Lee is 5th. Alpha Tauris are leading the championship at the moment with 62 points. Mercedes are in 2nd with 55. The Red Bulls are also on 55. The constructors looking very tight as we go into this third round. We've got 18 drivers this evening. Of course, the full qualifying session will have the bottom 3 drop out in Q1, bottom 5 in Q2 as slides through turn 5, and then we'll have the top 10 shootout. Of course, this track has been reprofiled in this final sector as we're seeing Bugatti come into it now. He lost the 3 chicanes where he went under the grandstand on the right hand side, and now it's just this long run towards the penultimate chicane of turn 16 and 17. Last week I was on my own and Lee is back again. I think his ear's alright now. How you doing, Lee?
Yeah, I could hear clearly now, and it's not feeling like I've got a blade inside my ear pretty much, but yeah, so feeling a lot better today. Looking forward to this this Grand Prix here today, and well, we're already seeing people out doing their intermediate championship. Got Josh, Chuckle, he's thinking about it I think, Marty, Short Marcus, and
Next week, Lee, we're going to have to go and do some homework, I think, and tally up the wins in the intermediate championship in Q1, because I'd love to know who came out on top at the end of the season, but I think that's something that we're going to have to do ourselves.
Yeah, I just seen Josh McGill there just going a wee bit wide there, coming off of Raffles Boulevard.
As Lewis G sets the first lap time of the evening in that 92 Alfa Romeo on the yellow walled medium Pirelli tyre. Of course, Pirelli sticking around till 2027 as the tyre providers for Formula One. It was announced, I think, yesterday. So no tyre war that was going to be rumoured with another manufacturer. That hasn't actually, I don't think that's been confirmed, that the exclusive tyre provider, but they are going to be in Formula One until 2027 at the very least, as ARG just set a time. But in the 2 minutes, so must have been a cool down for him now to push again and see if he can improve. His Bugatti does 130.9 on the soft tyre, but loads of drivers using the mediums in the first part of qualifying.
Yeah, I would say that's quite interesting. But yeah, like what you were saying about tyres just there, I do remember back years ago when it was like Bridgestone and Michelin, I would say that was actually quite interesting. As I think if I remember, like Bridgestones were better in like the straight line, but the Michelin were better at the corners. I do remember, right, I could be wrong.
Yeah, they were more like, I seem to remember the Michelins were more like squidgy. They had like more of a robust.
Like a softer sidewall.
Yes, yeah, no, I do vaguely remember that. And then, of course, there was a season with no mandatory pit stops, which was very strange. That was a very strange season. But yeah, got drivers out on the intermediates. Matty Jones setting the fastest lap on that intermediate, the driver in the Mercedes. And if I'm not wrong, Lee, I think Matty, does he race in Mercedes every day he takes part in RTG? I think he does, because he does on a Monday.
You know what? I'm going to have a wee look.
I think he does. I'm pretty sure. As Marcus has gone into the wall, and he's out of qualifying on the intermediate tyre.
Oh, Matty Jones. Gee.
He's just...
Oh, that's so unfortunate.
Took himself out. That is the risk of joining in the intermediate championship, I suppose. We haven't seen it yet, but this is the first time, and Matty not had the best run of form recently as well, as Clay the Monkey DNF'd on quite a few races so far in season 13, as some drivers like Clay not messing around, using that red walled slick tyre to put in the fastest lap so far in this Q1 session.
So yeah, just went off it there. On Thursdays he's in a Red Bull, so.
Okay.
Oh, let's see who's still got to set a time.
Short Marcus is on that. Him and Matthew, I think, had a busy Monday evening. From what I saw myself in the cockpit and watching afterwards, there was a lot going on in that Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. So check that out if you haven't already from the Monday tier. Me and Lee were just saying before the start of the stream, pretty much every race so far this season has been a good par or above, hasn't it, Lee? Really?
Yes. Oh, Chuckle getting a bit shaky coming out of turn 3, nearly bottled it into the wall there.
And again.
Jesus. Somebody's just surviving by the skin of their teeth there. But yeah, every race here this season has been quite hectic, but like just in the overtakes and just everybody just battling it out like crazy, and it was just madness.
We've had some races where we've been a bit shorter on drivers. I think we've had a minimum of 15, but unusual for RTG. Usually have quite a few drivers.
Monza, funnily enough, was it?
Monza was one. There was another as well. I think it was last week in Miami. Was quite short. But Miami again was good. Monza was good. There was a lot of safety cars though. But when we were racing, it was competitive, and we could see that again today. And I think Singapore is especially with this section now that we're seeing with Chuckle is definitely not as bad as it used to be. You definitely I feel like you get a lot more respite in this section now, because it's sort of 2 long straights, a couple of chicanes, and then you're at the end of the lap. And from what I saw watching back from the Monday tier in round 9 last season, we can see some decent racing around here. It's difficult, but it's not Monaco, Singapore.
No, I would say that it has still got the wide track, and there's plenty of space for overtaking, but of course you've got to be confident in knowing where the barriers are, pretty much. You've got to know your speed, and if you're offline that little bit and still trying to carry the same speed around the corner, then you could end up into the wall easy. And
one of the places where you can end up in the wall, the most easy, I suppose, or the easiest, is just over the Anderson Bridge into the hairpin of turn 13. And I suppose it's the right number for the corner, actually, because it's one of the most unlucky corners on the circuit. Yeah, and
seeing just how tight it is as well, and it's like as soon as one person breaks, it's just continuous, and with it being kind of blind as well.
Yeah,
it is quite a dangerous corner, I would say, especially if somebody spins it there.
Yeah, with this on board with Matthew at the moment, who's going through there now from sort of turn 10, to turn 13. It's all extremely tight, and then you turn left-handed here at the end of the Anderson Bridge, and then we go over the Esplanade Bridge and down this other DRS straight that was introduced a couple of years ago, just to help keep the field close. And you can sometimes see a move here And you really don't, if you're defending, you don't want to be on the outside of turn 14 because there is a solid Tech Pro barrier there on the outside. And
I will say sometimes the track limits at that corner are a bit.
they're a bit dodgy, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just with that white line that's there, and you're like, it feels like you could go over it, but then you can't really see it sometimes. And well, yeah.
As Tidran has just started a flying lap as he goes down Raffles Boulevard towards turn 7, another place where you'll potentially see a few overtakes happen this evening, and quite rare to actually see Tej out in qualifying these. Retired from quite a few of them so far this season.
There's I think the past 2 or 3 possibly we've seen that he didn't take part, and yeah, he just moved on. I remember, I can't remember if it was last week or the week before, but I do remember him at one point actually getting right up near the top, like in the top, like, what was it, 8 or something, and then it just didn't go his way, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That was a bit gutting to see, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. So, just over 5 minutes to go in this Q1 session. I looked up at the clock there, Lee, for the first time. I was not expecting to see 5.5 minutes left. It seems like we've gone through this rather quickly indeed. We've still got 5 drivers, 2 set lap times. Only 2 of them are going to be knocked out now, as Matty Jones has sealed his fate. He's 15th so far. Josh McGill goes provisionally first in Q1.
Well, then again, the people that they've got to make sure they get above a 137.862, well, get below it, should I say, if they want to be able to get through to the next qualifying session.
As Matthew crosses the line, one of our colleagues in the Monday tier, now the co-commentator on Monday, he goes 3rd fastest in that all-black Mercedes. RTG Lee will be up next.
I'm unsure about this, but I think he could be joining Mondays as a driver now. I'm unsure about that, though. I will have
Makes
to
our lives a lot harder.
Check.
As RTG Lee crosses the line and goes 7th fastest. And
right now it's Choco in the drop zone.
The top 5, though, Lee, really kind of seem like they're in a bit of a league of their own at the moment.
It is appearing like that.
Obviously, Josh is the only one to get into the 129s, and obviously I know they've reprofiled the circuit, made it a bit shorter than it was previously, but it's quite weird to see into the 129s at Singapore. It was always sort of a mid to high 130s before. I think sort of the best lap at Singapore in real life would have probably been, I think it was 2018 Lewis Hamilton's lap here, where it sort of, I don't know if you remember, Lee, it sort of came out of absolutely nowhere, and he was sort of like 5 or 6 tenths faster than anyone else. I'm not sure if you remember that or not, but he said it was his most perfect qualifying lap he'd ever done.
I can't remember it.
But that was like a 133, and that was the lowest time I'd ever seen at Singapore.
The one thing I do remember is the controversial first ever race here.
Yeah.
No one can
forget that. Yeah, Crashgate.
Oh yeah, that was.
It was a busy year, 2007. It was busy 2 years, 07, 08, wasn't it? Spygate, Crashgate. It was all going. All the gates were opening and closing those couple of seasons as Danny makes his way through that treacherous turn 13. And you really do want to try and get right up to that Aramco-sponsored wall there on the outside when you exit turn 13, just to get the best possible maximum speed by the end of that straight. As we now go down this brand new straight into turns 15 and 16. under the motorway above your heads there, and now into the final two corners. There's a tricky pit lane entry here, as Fernando Alonso found out a few weeks ago, as he went over the raised curbs there, and he got himself a time penalty. As looks like one of the Alfa Romeos crossed the line there, but I feel like that was to start a lap. It was. It's Chuck on his way to do a tour of this Marina Bay circuit. So Lee, we've still got two drivers showing that their fastest lap was on the intermediate tyre. Chuckle about to finish his lap, actually, as his teammate just started one.
Yep, funnily enough, Sean Marcus still one of them right now, and he's still sitting in the pits. No, he's not. It's Benjamin, sorry.
Yeah, and Arg is in the pits. I feel like he's going to be out as Short Marcus goes fastest, 1:29.5. I think he's in a league of his own at the moment. And yeah, Ben is. So I think that's it. Sorry, Lee, to cut you off. I think that's it.
Yep, that's it. That's the end of qualifying. Everyone 15th and up will make it through. Unfortunately, Benjamin and Arg are out, and then Matty Jones, unfortunately, not being able to make it through the intermediate championship. So we've got a couple of reserves in tonight.
And who are those reserves? Huh?
And Ross.
Yeah, we haven't seen Lewis for a little while, actually.
Yeah, true. We remember racing up against Ross just a couple of days ago in Abu Dhabi there.
Yeah, hard race that was. It was
dusted me.
And of course, obviously, most people are going to be sitting in their living rooms, bedrooms, kitchens, sheds, wherever they're on their rigs or sat there with their controller, which we do still have a few of those on the controller in RTG. But usually, if you're actually in Singapore, the humidity here would be ridiculous. We have had it the last few days in good old Blighty, where the weather's been quite humid in the early part of October. Not so much this evening, but I remember when we were here on Monday, it was a quite hot, sweaty evening that was. And I did feel like I was almost sat on that Singapore street circuit. But of course, Qatar last weekend took that to a whole other level.
How they were able to do that and still at least keep the car on the road, I have no bloody idea. I mean, who was it? Was it Ocon? I think it was. It was like throwing up in his helmet, Stroll passing out, and then what was it? Russell.
Logan Sargent as well. Russell, yeah, he was struggling with the heat.
Sargent.
You saw him down the start finish, opening up his visor and moving his hands off the wheel to get some cool air up his race suit. I think that would have kind of the gap between his glove but all the stuff they have to wear with the fireproof underwear, and then I think you've got to wear shorts under that, and then you've got your almost like your leotard, haven't you, underneath that, and race suit, balaclava. Then you've got your headphones as well. That'll make a difference, obviously. Having those in your ears as well, not having it, because obviously heat can extract from anywhere in your body. So
I will say the funniest one though was Alonso. Like he's roasting hot arse.
Saying his backside was a bit too on the warm side.
Took heated seats to a whole new level.
And I like a heated seat, but that was probably a bit extreme. Got a lovely heated seat in my Skoda. Yeah, my Skodas get pretty hot, but it's I don't get second degree burns.
So a wee quick rundown of the first of 3 qualifying sessions. Short Marcus, then it was Josh McGill, both of them making it into the 129s. Prodigy in third, Super Striker fourth, Matthew fifth, Ross. Then it was Bugatti, Clay, Chuckle, Lewis, Lee, Danny, Aki, Teachman, and Chuck. Benjamin and Argo, unfortunately, not being able to get a good enough time, and Matty Jones unfortunately crashing out while he was on his, I think it was his in lap to the pits. What was it, turn 14, if I do remember right?
No, it was turn 8.
Was it turn 8? Oh, right.
Turn 8, the slow right-hander, yeah.
Oof.
So, as we get into Q2, 15 drivers remain, and by the end of this session, we'll have 10 drivers remaining for that Q3 session. And we'll see who can get on pole. Of course, Josh McGill taking pole last week. I'm just looking for my notes, Lee.
Mm-hmm.
And Chuckle took pole in the first race in Monza, so it's 1-1 between Chuckle and Josh for pole.
Well, let's see how it's going to be this round. Is it going to be a newcomer jumping into the battle, or is it going to be a battle between these two again?
And last week as well. We only had 15 drivers. So from last week, we only had drivers actually being knocked out in this session, and those drivers were starting from 11th down to 15th. Teachman started 11th, then Royal Rumble, Lee, Danny, and Bugatti. So I wonder if any of those can get themselves into Q3 for the first time this season, seeing as we had a short qualifying session for the first round. So it's their first opportunity. Of course, we've got Tej, Bugatti, who is still in Q2. Danny as well. Is Royal Rumble there as well? I don't think Royal Rumble's with us this evening. Is he already out in Q1? I don't think he's with us this evening, is he, Royal Rumble? But 4 out of the 5 that was knocked out in Q2 last week are here this week.
Yeah, so we're seeing quite a lot of activity on the track right now.
And it'll be an Aston Martin up first by the looks of things, Super Striker. On the medium tyres, again, drivers using the mediums. Quite a long circuit, this one. Maybe thinking that at the end of the lap, they can get some extra performance out of that medium tyre.
It's quite an interesting call, to be honest. I mean, usually the medium tyre is the less grippier.
And you usually leave it. You usually leave it in qualifying. For full qualifying, you would get 4 sets of softs, 3 to begin with, and then if you get into Q3, you get given your race set of softs to use. So that's usually what people usually leave the medium set for the race. You get an extra fresh set of mediums, but maybe others trying a different approach, using the medium tyre and maybe trying to save a set of softs for the race potentially. Not too sure.
Yeah, it could be quite possible. I mean, we've got a 31 lap race just away to come up in about 20 minutes, or just over 20 minutes?
About 25, 30 minutes.
Yeah, I'd say that. But we're seeing Super Striker just rounding turn 15 now, onto where we would see the old sort of bus stop section.
Good description.
It is actually like a bus stop section, I would say.
Yeah, I suppose compared to what it is like now, yes, it would have been. His Super Striker sets the first lap with a 1:30.8. The Alpine is close behind him with a 30.6. Lewis snatches second, Rashid is fourth. Josh McGill goes back on top.
Sets a similar time to what he did in Q1. I will say that I reckon Super Striker and Lewis's times will need to be better in order to get through.
And Chuckle goes through. What's Prodigy going to do? He goes second fastest with 1:29.8 dead. And he said Josh McGill doing a very similar time to what he did in the first session. Bugatti up next, but he dives into the pits. He hasn't invalidated, but he looked like he may have made a bit of an error. His Teach has left the session. He joins back again. Got plenty of time, of course, to get another lap done. as Chuck, making his way to the line, got through by the skin of his teeth in Q1. Where's he going to go in Q2? He goes 5th fastest with a 1:13.325. And the only two now on track, on a lap, is Aki and Short Marcus. As Aki goes across the line. No, he doesn't. I thought it was the DRS detection line. He does a 1:35.6, but he was going the wrong direction when he finished the lap. Is Short Marcus now into turn 11, now 12, over the Anderson Bridge. Turn right-handed, so then go back to the left at turn 13. Missed the apex, gets really close to the wall. Had a big old tub of understeer there. And Lewis disqualified from the session for blocking in the pit lane. And he will be starting... Is he going to be starting 15th or will he be starting 20th? I think it'll be 15th.
Yeah, he will be starting 15th as it's counted as a different session. I think he just spun going into the pits, really. I will say that sometimes the game is quite harsh in that respect. You know, it sometimes doesn't allow you to get your car turned around. They kind of expect you to just reset the track, I suppose. But hey, blame EA for that.
Yeah, definitely. Clay goes through turn 7. Yep, now turn 8. One of the drivers who looks like he could be fighting for a world title, the American in the Williams, something we're used to seeing in Formula 1 in 2023.
Well, he got a P7 last race out in Miami, well, in qualifying, but he managed to improve up to 3rd in the race. So we'll see how qualifying is going to fare for him today.
And like he told us last week in the interview, Miami was his closest race to home, so technically his home race. So he had a very good finish, and now trying to tackle the streets of Singapore as he seems like he's done a very decent second sector. Now we get on to the brake pedal for turns 16 and 17, get close to the wall on the exit of 17, and then throw it in to the final 2 corners and hope that it sticks to the surface as he goes fastest with a 1:29.5. And I have got a feeling, Lee, we might have a few drivers this season who are going to be high up on the stats list for pole positions this season.
Well, judging by the way it is right now, I mean, we've got Clay sitting pretty at the top of Q2 right now. Of course, that could all change in Q3. Josh McGill, of course, he's managed to get pole before Short Marcus also. So, hey, we could see how things go. Could reckon there could be quite a few.
Yeah, they certainly could. And as I said, we've got a few drivers who look like they could be fighting for this championship as well. As long as the attendance stays up, of course, trying to make sure they attend all 10 rounds. That's also one of the crucial parts. I know everyone's obviously got lives to live and they unfortunately can't turn up sometimes, obviously due to work and other commitments they have. But some will, and sometimes that is the defining factor as well. Just being able to turn up, be consistent, not even get poles and poles get you points in RTG. So I suppose that is true. Poles, fastest laps, podiums. As long as you're getting in the points every week, you've got more and more of a chance. Just if you're turning up week in, week out.
Well, that's the thing. The fortunate thing about RTG is, well, everybody gets points, but it just depends on where you come, really. But like you said, consistency is key. Turning up every race, that's the key to getting the points, really.
And I am just hoping we've got drivers in this league that are a calibre where it's something I've really wanted to see the last few seasons, and we just haven't had it yet. I'm sure we will in time. But having sort of going to a final race and having 2, 3, 4 drivers fighting for a championship, the skill, the talent is actually there from a lot of these drivers who could consistently sort of fight with each other all season long, not pull it in the barriers, not hit each other and those kind of things. And the attendance usually is very good. It can be top tier in RTG, but yeah, we haven't had that yet. We've had a couple of drivers fighting for a championship, but especially in Thursdays, Chuckle's been quite dominant. He's had some people knocking at the door trying to take the championship from him, but it's just been too far ahead as we go into the final round for it to. Yes, it can be mathematically possible, but realistically, it hasn't been possible a couple of times. So hopefully, we will get a couple of decent championship fights in the final round or two this season. As the racing's been so far, hopefully it'll carry on at the same level it has done.
Yeah, here's hoping that the caliber of racing keeps up. As we seeing, even though a couple of weeks ago not having the best of attendance results, still ended up having a smashing race, plenty of overtaking, plenty of battles, and yeah, it was excellent.
Sorry, Super Striker actually clipped the wall with his rear left tyre there as we're on board with him, rear facing camera. He actually clipped the wall through turn 12 onto the Anderson Bridge.
Oh,
not very often you see something like that. He kept it steady and was able to make the next corner. But I've never really seen just that. Obviously the tyres as well on this generation of F1 car, they are wider on the rear as well, so you can, especially somewhere like Monaco out of the tunnel, that's somewhere where you can actually really get caught out.
Oh, I hate that corner so much.
Rascasse as well, that's the other one.
What's that?
You feel,
penultimate corner?
Yeah, it's where you think, don't you? You get the front wheel and you think, I've just done that beautifully, and then bonk, the back wheel, and you just
parking spot.
Yeah, Schumacher's parking spot.
Come on, you've got to admit that was dirty.
You got Mirabeau as well, and Nico Rosberg's parking spot as well. Also, it wasn't very sportsmanlike, was it?
What about that one again?
When you come down a hill past the casino section, over when they turn right over the bump. But do you remember in 2014 where he was on provisional pole and he just decided to brake like 30 metres too late and then went, I couldn't make the corner. No.
Oh, this was an accident.
It was so blatant. With the Red Bull dominance at the moment, I do actually miss that kind of Nico Rosberg-Lewis fight, because at least they were sort of on par with each other. At least you got kind of...
He's just blown out the water, really.
Yeah. Now, there's a lot of rumours Lando Norris might take that seat in a few years.
Well, apparently...
But not if McLaren keep going the way they're going, actually. It's nice to see McLaren actually doing really, really well.
Well, I was reading something earlier about possibly Tsunoda going to replace Stroll.
Really?
Yeah. It was like...
See, I think...
that are happening.
See, I think they should be giving someone like Alex Palou or Pato Award, someone like that. I think a couple of those IndyCar drivers really do deserve a place in Formula One, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I mean,
Alex Palou. He's won last two of the three IndyCar championships, and he won the Indy 500 last year as well. The year he didn't win a championship, so. I
mean, I will say Indy 500. It's just going in a circle.
It is, but no, I know, but you've got to respect it as well. It is a spectacle. They do say, they say it's the greatest spectacle. I don't agree with that, but it is a spectacle. It's, they race for 3.5 hours, averaging over 200 miles an hour the whole time. And it's one of those races where I know you still can in Formula One. It's still very dangerous, but it's one of those races where death is a real factor to it. There's concrete walls everywhere. There's no Tech Pro barrier. It's just a good old solid concrete wall. Is Short Marcus doing a lovely little drift there out of turn 13. Picturesque, but not quick.
Yep. There's maybe other cars that would be able to do it quicker, but unfortunately, these cars cannot do the drifting that very well.
Yeah, obviously, you have to be tentative. You have almost 1,000 horsepower under your right foot at your disposal, and he's using all of those to his advantage with a 129.185, a very, very quick time. We're going to get into the 128s in Q3, Lee, as the clock ticks down to 0. Tej, again, not setting a lap, so 3 of the drivers in danger. Danny's certainly in danger now. He's retired as well, so he's got to wait and see what happens, and I'm pretty sure he's probably going to be sitting there biting his nails as he now goes down to 10th.
Yep, and Chuck's on his time by just nearly 2/10 there. Super Striker's up on his time right now by nearly 2/10. Aki's unfortunately down on his time, I think. Oh no, he was up. Oh! That improves by 3 seconds, and there was... Who was that? Chuck just went P6 there with 129.7. And Super Striker, is he going to be the one to knock Lee out?
Yeah, well, Danny's now gone. The Super Striker. He goes through 5th fastest. So, unfortunately, for the second week in a row, Teichmann, Danny, and Lee, are all out in Q2. Bugatti is the only one that gets through to Q3 after being knocked out in Q2 last week.
Ooh, and he just makes it through by 3/10 there. So, not bad for him. We're just going to be waiting a wee bit until these McLarens get back to their garage. And I'm not sure if either Marcus is on low fuel. I think he is.
Yeah, he's on low fuel. And always a bugbear of mine, just go to the flag. Because we have to wait for you to back into the garage. But I do understand from everyone else's point of view. When I'm racing on a Monday, I actually well, we only do short qualifying to be fair, but if we did full, I would probably appreciate the extra sort of 30 seconds of respite.
Breather. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is fair. But seeing quite a few more people into the 129s already. That's 8 in the 129s here compared to the 2 in the 129s just a few moments ago in the first qualifying session. So we see the McLaren of Short Marcus gets first in Q2. Then it was Prodigy, Clay, Josh McGill, Super Striker, Ross, Chuck, Matthew and Bugatti. Unfortunately not making it through Lee, Danny, Aki, Teichmann and Lewis, who unfortunately ended up getting disqualified. Teichmann not even setting a time. So now we move on to the third and final qualifying session. 12 minutes to determine the first person who will be starting on pole position.
So as Lee says, we've got 12 minutes of this session, 10 drivers, and a point up for grabs.
I always forget about that for some reason.
We've been here so long now, Lee, I don't actually forget anymore. And it's nice, actually, the fact that we've sort of been long time members now, over a year, I think, and it kind of almost feels like home in a way, like when we used to commentate before. Me and Lee did have our own league, so it almost feels like that kind of feeling again for me now, that we know a lot of the drivers, we kind of know what they're like. whereas sometimes where we would do commentating for different leagues and sort of switch and change, it's been nice to stick around. And it's actually, I appreciate the fact that a lot of them race in the other days as well, so we kind of get a real nice understanding of some of these drivers, and it almost feels like, you know, we all know so much about real life Formula One, or I do anyway, because I'm overly obsessed with it. But yeah, we're just trying to bring you a bit better commentating for this season, trying to up our game a little bit with these stats and trying to bring them out to you, and sort of, you know, giving the league a little bit more heritage, a bit more life, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, it is always good to get uh, loads of different things in here. Just when you were on about for your own knowledge, it kind of just reminded me of Sebastian Vettel, that video where he rattles off every single Formula One world champion in order.
I can probably go back to the mid '80s and probably name every single one. Then I can
about 90.
Yeah, about probably about 85 or 80. Then I start to sort of struggle a bit. I was born in '94. Obviously, I wasn't watching Formula One in 1994, but sort of, I was quite late to the party, to be fair. Sort of 2003, 4. I really started to watch it. I remember my dad used to watch it when I was really young, but then when Schumacher was winning everything, it kind of went off the telly.
Yeah, man, that was the same with my dad as well. He just like, nah, I'm not watching it anymore. It's just.
Yeah, so my first sort of memories is that Alonso in the Renault, really. That's kind of like sort of my first kind of real memories of Formula One, and then, you know, I watched it quite consistently from then. There was a couple of years in 11 and 12 where I was playing a lot of rugby at that time, and I was sort of more focused on doing that on a weekend than sitting down and watching Formula One. But ever sort of since sort of 2013 onwards, I've been an avid watcher for about 10 years. And nowadays, if I'm at work on a Sunday or whatever, I make sure to watch it when I get home. So, you know, sort of the last 10 years, I've pretty much watched every single race.
Oh yeah, that's pretty much the same as me. I mean, there was a couple, I remember coming back up from England when it was a French Grand Prix a couple of years ago. That was a nightmare trying to watch because the internet just kept cutting in and out with the tunnels and just, done my box. And Josh McGill there nearly going right into the side. I think that was Sean Marcus. Yeah, it was. Coming out of turn 13. Just got a little bit too eager on the throttle. Didn't get the traction that was needed. But now I think he's going to be the first one to settle up, is it? Or is it Super Striker? No. Prodigy, sorry. Josh McGill hitting the wall on the outside of 17 there. And just running that bit wide on 18. So he's invalidated his time, unfortunately, at the worst place.
Yeah, and he invalidated the next one as well. Is Ross G goes on to provisional pole, beating Prodigy's lap by around 0.3 of a second, or just under that. Who is up next? We see Matthew now making his way around the final corner in the black and teal Mercedes as he goes fastest with a 1:29.0. Obviously, as I said, the last time we were here, it was intermediate weather, and that pole time was 1:41 something, 1:41.804. So obviously not representative of what we're having today. Chuck crosses the line to start his first attempt in Q3. And now Chuckle, the man leading the championship, the reigning Thursday tier champion. What is he going to produce? A 1:30.171. Surely he can get a better lap time in than that one.
I think it's just short Marcus is left on a lap, is it? Or not short Marcus and Chuck. So short Marcus is just coming up to turn 14 now. Getting on that curb at the apex and using as much of the track as possible on the exit. Around turn 15, of course, it's just flat out here in these F1 cars. We're getting nicely around the chicane of 16 and 17. thought he was about to go into the pit there for a second, but goes across the line, a 129.548, which slots him into 4th position right now.
Chuck now going around turn 14. The kink of 15, that left-hander, and then down this back straight with no DRS, but bumpy down here though. You do notice it's a road circuit, a street circuit. I was going to say road course. That's more what the chaps on the other side of the pond say. Is that Chuck goes 8th fastest with a 1:30.280.
Unfortunately, it's not going to be a good enough lap to get him anywhere near pole, but we've still got Josh McGill, who's just coming into the pits now. Oh no, that was Bugatti, sorry. But yeah, so we're going to be chilling for a few moments as we'll be waiting for these guys to hit the track again. So,
Yeah.
as things are looking right now, any predictions on pole position?
Not too sure that the mention of the honourable mention of this Q3 at the moment. I think he's Bugatti Sloven actually in 2nd place right now, the 129.331. He's certainly got comfortable, got his feet under the table in F123. He certainly has. He's been very good so far in the first season and a bit of F123.
Yeah, we're already seeing Ross, one of the reserves, out on track right now. The only reserve that managed to make it through into the 3rd and final qualifying session. He's alone on track right now. So this will be able to give him plenty of clear air to get a lap in.
Yeah, I think he just wants a clear circuit as he's about to start his lap, getting very close to the wall there, almost taking too much risk. And now with the revs at peak limit there through the final corner as he goes into turn 1, uses as much as the yellow concrete on the outside to turn in, open up that corner as he now goes through turn 3, and we get over to the left hand side for turn 5. It's easy to exceed track limits on the entry, just trying to be too greedy again, trying to open up the corner as much as possible. As we go down Raffles Boulevard, hit the brakes for turn 7 at the 100-metre board, now into this clunky right-hander of turn 8. Can feel like the car can get very understeery there, and now into this quick section of turn 8, and now on this straight down towards turn 9, of course, where we saw George Russell and Lando Norris actually clipping that wall where it does stick out on the right-hand side, and it did ruin his race in the final lap of the Singapore GP about 3 weeks ago now. As he makes his way down the back straight, the other DRS straight, over the Esplanade Bridge, into the right-hander, and now we go down towards turn 14. Turn 16. Out of turn 14 and then through the kink of 15. Now we're on the brakes for turn 16. And then the left-hander is 17. And now we've got these 2 last corners that are tricky to get right. And you want to use as much of the track as possible on the exit. Does a 129.2. Has got the fuel on board, Lee. So is he going to go for another run here? Oh, Lee? Lee? If anyone's in the chat, can they let me know if the stream's still running? I think I've just had a bit of an issue. Bugger.